Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ashley. Today I'm refuting Brad's claim that automobiles cause minimal contribution to global warming. Today there are many known factors that contribute to the controversial topic of global warming, including natural events and human activity. One of the most obvious and prominent problems in our world leading to global warming is poor air quality, which we have contracted over the years. The threat at hand is the rising of temperatures globally and the resulting climate changes due to the ever-growing dense layer of gases present in our atmosphere. According to an academic journal titled Global Warming by Gale Opposing Viewpoints, scientists have high confidence that global temperatures will continue to rise for decades to come, largely due to greenhouse gases produced by human activity. First, I'd like to lay out Brad's reasons for claiming that automobiles are not responsible for global warming. His first point was that cars emit carbon dioxide, water vapor, nitrogen, and carbon monoxide. His second point was that we cannot prove that carbon dioxide is responsible for the climate change we're experiencing. And his last point is carbon dioxide is increasing forestation. Okay, so for the first point, cars emit carbon dioxide, water vapor, nitrogen, and carbon monoxide. I found that this claim kind of drew away from the topic at hand. It didn't really further the argument. It kind of was just factual information. I found the statistics that he said to be slightly different. According to the Sierra Club organization, our nation's oldest environmental organization, cars can actually be responsible for emitting about 20% of the nation's CO2, which was a slightly larger figure than what he gave. And I found this number reoccurring through my research. So I thought at first in his first claim he was challenged, his credibility was being challenged because I found contradicting information. So my point was that cars emit actually 20% of the CO2 in the atmosphere today. His second point was that carbon dioxide has not been proven to be responsible for the climate change. In his claim that the global temperature is not increasing by much, my evidence completely contradicts the idea of a minuscule temperature increase. According to the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which includes a plethora of scientists from all around the world, temperature may rise up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit within the next century. Now, I'm unsure how Brad came up with the conclusion that carbon dioxide is not proven to be responsible for the climate change because there's various research on the topic saying otherwise. The climate change will be dramatic, maybe not for people that are living today, but it will affect the global situation in the future for sure, and it's our responsibility to keep the environment friendly, clean and friendly. Another statistic I got was that according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, in the past 200 years, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has risen by more than 30% due to many factors, including the burning of fossil fuels. So my main claim on that one was that carbon dioxide is in fact a main contributing factor to the cause of climate change. Brad's third point was that the carbon dioxide is increasing forestation so that it helps us, but really the negatives outweigh the positives, and there's many other forms that we can do to help our environment, forestation, that doesn't involve polluting the air as much as we are. Creating renewable energy, for example, would have a good impact. So for my conclusion, the reasons I think that automobiles do cause a huge contribution to global warming is that cars emit 20% of the CO2 in our atmosphere today. Carbon dioxide is a main contributing factor to the cause of climate change, and there are many other ways to improve the environment. To summarize the argument, the best way to further to keep our environment clean is to come up with renewable sources that do not cause so much pollution to the atmosphere. Thank you.
All right, Ashley, I think you did a good job labeling the advocates' claims and then talking about the general issue of global warming and trying to give us a legitimate reason to be concerned about it and background on the issue as a prelude to giving specific arguments on the secondary claims. So that was okay. And then when you get to the advocates' secondary claims, you laid them out for us very clearly so it's easy to follow. Your challenge on the information on the first point is okay, except the discrepancy on what the CO2 estimates are from the advocate and from you on what cars contribute seems like why is the discrepancy the important issue? I think the better argument is the one that you're making that says, look, cars contribute 20% to the CO2 in the atmosphere. That's a significant proportion, and here's what's likely to be accounted for as a result of that. So if your position is correct, here's how much impact it has. But even if your position isn't correct, I don't remember what the advocate's suggestion of what the contribution was, but it didn't sound like it was significantly different. It was also a relatively, as a proportion, small, but I mean the difference between the 20% that you're citing and whatever the advocate was citing seemed like it was a minimal difference, and that's what you were pointing out. It still is a contributor, which doesn't deny that automobiles make a contribution to the CO2 in the atmosphere. So I think that the argument that you've got there is a legitimate point. I'm just not sure what the impact of it is in the long run. The key issue is the second point, which I think you have good information on, but which I think you could be a little bit more effective in challenging the advocate's argument on, because he's basically suggested that there's no proof that there is a relationship between CO2 in the atmosphere and global warming, and you come back and say, well, I've got plenty of evidence to suggest that, which I think is the right strategy, and you use the right information to do that. What was his evidence, though, to suggest that it was unrelated? That's, I think, the thing that we're missing. We need a little bit more contrast information that says, look, he didn't really provide any evidence that suggests CO2 is unrelated to this. He didn't cite any experts that challenged the relationship of CO2 to global warming. He's not even assuming that the theory of global warming is invalid, so there's no challenge there. So what is the proof for his point? There is none. What is the proof for my position? I've got an international body composed of experts who are of high degree of confidence that it is related to the CO2 in the atmosphere. They've identified CO2 as the major contributing gas to global warming, and I'll put these experts up against the anonymous nobody that is mentioned by the other side, and do the contrast that way. And I think that sells that point, because the second point is the key argument in his issue. If he's not right on that second point, then everything else doesn't really matter much. It's sort of like that chain argument thing that we were talking about before. What I especially liked in your presentation is that you were very deliberative in the way you speak about the issues. You talk about them to us. You explain things, why you're talking about something, and you do a good job talking to the audience and trying to connect the points that you're making to the issue that's being talked about. I thought you did a good job on those kinds of things. I just think that you're missing some opportunities to really make your argument so much clearer and more forceful. That's all. So, my comments are not so much a criticism that you did something wrong as here are opportunities that you're missing that you can take advantage of. All right. Dina?